This prison still stands today. In June 2025, Israeli missiles struck its gates. But before that, it had stood at the foot of the mountains north of Tehran for 50 years. Two regimes, two generations of prisoners, the same walls, the same interrogation rooms, the same light that never goes out. On February 11th, 1979, those gates were opened by the people. Just once. That was the only time. This is the story of Evin Prison. Not just a prison break, but a nation that locked itself inside a cage of its own making. What this place was. In 1972, Shah Mohammad Reza Pahlavi built Evin Prison at the foot of the mountains north of Tehran. From the city, all you could see were the mountains. No walls, no fences, but every person in Tehran knew exactly what was up there. The prison was run by SAVAK, the Shah's secret police, built with the help of the American CIA, trained with the help of Israel's Mossad. It needed no court order to arrest anyone. Students, workers, journalists, poets, anyone deemed disloyal to the Shah could vanish from their home one morning and reappear inside Evin. Electric shocks, beatings, prolonged solitary confinement, lights that never turned off, and something they called white torture. A room painted entirely white, white prison uniform, white food, all sound blocked out, no color, no sense of time. A person slowly ground down to nothing. On April 19, 1975, 9 political prisoners were taken up into the mountains. None of them came back. The official story, they tried to escape. The survivors said, no one tried to escape. The revolution came. In 1978, the streets of Iran ignited. Waves of protest swept the country against the Shah, against the science, against everything Evin represented. This revolution was ultimately led by the exiled religious leader Khomeini, returning from France, and it would reshape the entire Middle East. On January 16, 1979, Shah Pahlavi boarded a plane carrying a handful of Iranian soil. He never came back. SAVAK scrambled to destroy 20 years of torture records. They didn't finish in time. Inside Evin, roughly 1,500 political prisoners were still waiting. They heard gunfire from their cells. They didn't know who was shooting at whom. They only knew the revolution had come. February 11, 1979, Revolution Victory Day. In the morning, state radio was seized. By afternoon, the military declared neutrality. Then the crowds moved toward Evin. No orders, no central command, no plan. They climbed the walls. They broke through the iron gates. The guards scattered. The gates opened. The people inside couldn't believe what they were hearing. Those sealed in the white rooms, the ones with no color, no sound, no sense of time, suddenly heard voices, heard their own names called out. A student named Reza had been sent to Evin in 1976 for a book of poetry. 3 years later, the door opened. Some prisoners stood at the threshold and couldn't move, unsure whether to step forward or stay where they were. Inside the interrogation rooms, people saw the equipment, the electric shock devices, the chairs, the instruments designed to break a human being. Some smashed them. Others just stood there, staring at the walls, silent. Outside, 5 million people were celebrating in the streets. But those gates had only been open for a few hours. The gates closed again. After the revolution, Evin was open to the public for several weeks. The new government turned the interrogation rooms into an exhibition. Look what the Shah did to us. Then the gates closed again. New prisoners arrived. Not just members of the old regime soon. It was yesterday's revolutionaries walking. In leftists, secularists, feminists, anyone who didn't fit the new order could disappear just as easily as before. A woman named Marina Nemat was sent to Evin in 1982 for protesting at her school. She later wrote, "Before the revolution, we hated this prison. After the revolution, it was still there, just with different prisoners inside." In the summer of 1988, according to records documented by human rights organizations, thousands of political prisoners were secretly executed without trial. Most were young students and workers. Their families didn't find out for years. Some have never found the graves. In 2022, a hacker group called Justice of Ali broke into the prison's surveillance system and broadcast the footage to the world. For the first time, people saw what was inside. Survivors of Evin, from both eras, under both regimes, described the same thing. The light never goes off. You lose track of day and night. You start to feel like the world outside has forgotten you. Same walls, same light. The regime changed. The rules didn't. In June 2025, missiles hit the gates, but the lights are still on. Evin Prison is still there.